We'll now go even more into detail of a concrete project, a European field test that the European heating industry conducts together with Eurofuel. And first results of this field test are now going to be presented by Günther Köp. He works for Hoval in the Principality of Liechtenstein. Hoval is a manufacturer of heat generators, and Günther is responsible for the liquid and gaseous fuel sector for Hoval.
In Europe, we have field test experience with low carbon fuels with renewables up to 10% since 2006. And now we have, we made a current field test with low carbon fuels with renewables more than 10%. And this started 2018. Next slide. Now to the previous field test we made between 26 and 2012 with renewables up to a maximum 10%. This was a joint project between Eurofuel and EHA, and the fuel we use at this time was low sulfur heating oil with 10% FAME, and the FAME was based on the standard 14 to 13. And the participating countries were Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. And the number of plants were about 35. And the plants were oil heating system in existing buildings, mostly low temperature boilers, and some plants with state-of-the-art oil condensing technology. And the oil tanks were plastic tanks and steel tanks. And concerning the buildings, and they were only 1 and 2 family houses. Next slide. We had 27 heating boilers in operation in Germany from 26 up to 2012. Then we had 5 heating boilers in Switzerland from 27 up to 2012 in operation. And in Austria, we have 3 heating boilers, also in the time from 27 to 2012 in operation. Next slide. What was the experience with this field test? We had trouble-free operation over the total test period. On some plants, there were increased contamination of the oil filter caused by the cleaning effect of FAME, and this could be avoided by a previous tank cleaning. And then a very important point is that it's very important to use a single line system for oil supply, because it should be avoided a fuel circulation in the tank to prevent oxygen input in the fuel with FAME, because FAME is very sensitive to oxygen. Next slide. Now, what was the result from this field test in the year 2012? It was the release of FAME mixture up to 10% with low sulfur heating oil by the well-known boiler manufacturers and also by the component manufacturers. So the oil pumps were suitable up to 10% FAME, and they were now, or since then, were oil preheater without kappa. Next slide. Now to the current field test with renewables more than 10%. And this field test starts in 2018, and it's also a joint project between Eurofuel and EHA. And the fuel which were used are different sorts of low carbon fuels. And the participating countries are Austria, Belgium, France, Switzerland, United Kingdom, Ireland, Germany, and Sweden. The number of plants are 102, 81 in operation since 2018, and 21 were planned mainly in Germany. And the plants are concerning the boiler, also oil heating system in existing building with low temperature boiler and state-of-the-art oil condensing technology. Oil tanks, also plastic and steel tanks, and the buildings are from one family house up to big applications. Next slide, please. What are the objectives of the current field test? Concerning the oil supply and storage, it is the proof of the expected operational reliability of the oil supply in the stock. It is the proof of the operational safety of the used material and the influence of the heating oil quality by refueling with regenerative components. And on the boiler side, it's the proof of operational safety of the existing heating boilers with regenerative components, then the impact on the emission and the impact of the efficiency. Next slide. For this field test, we use different fuels. On one side, we use esterified fuels. These are, for example, FAME. This means fatty acid methyl ester. Then we use UCOM from residues, like used cooking oil. Then from vegetable oil, it's the so-called RME, rapeseed methyl ester. Then we have on the other side the paraffinic fuels, and mainly the hydrotreated oil, and it's one sort is HUCO, that's from residues. This means hydrotreated used cooking oil, or HVO from vegetable oil. And then we use so-called future fuels, the e-fuels, based on green electricity. And these are produced with the Fischer-Tropsch synthesis. Next slide. So you can see in which country we use which fuel. In Austria, we use 100% hydrotreated products. In Belgium, we use domestic heating oil with 20% FAME. In France, we use domestic heating oil with GTL. This means gas to liquid. And also in France, domestic heating oil with 30% FAME. In Switzerland, we use domestic heating oil with 20% UCOM. In UK and Ireland, we use kerosene plus 30% FAME. And in Germany, we have also two sorts of heating oil. One is the R33. It comes from the automotive area, and it's a mixture made of domestic heating oil plus 7% FAME and 26% hydrotreated products. And also in Germany, we use GTL because this product is similar to the future PTL product. So it's so we can also test how such PTL works on site. And each product is used with suitable additives. Next slide. So you can see here the overview about over Europe. I will begin with Germany. In Germany, we have 22 appliances with between 20 and 80% UCO in operation. We have 24 appliances with 54 up to 100% GTL also in operation, and 21 appliances with R33 are in planning. In Sweden, there are 7 appliances with 100% UCO and HVO. In UK, there are 2 appliances with B30 key. This means 30% FAME with kerosene. In Belgium, we have 1 appliances with 20% FAME. In Switzerland, we have 5 appliances with between 20 and 50% UCOM, and 3 appliances with between 70 and 100% UCO and HVO. In France, we have 4 appliances with 100% GTL. And in Austria, we have 13 appliances with 100% UCO or HVO. Next slide, please. So what are the current results with these plants? In Germany, we have till now no malfunctions. In Austria, we have also no malfunctions. In Switzerland, we had small problems with UCOM, with the oil pumps, and problems were solved by adding a special additive. In Sweden, we have no malfunction. In France, we have no malfunction. From United Kingdom, we have no statement. And in Belgium, we have also no malfunction. Next slide, please. Here you can see some detailed results from Austria concerning the flue gas temperature and concerning the emissions. And this is a comparison between 100% XTL, mainly HVO, and sulfur-free heating oil. So the flue gas temperature will be a little bit lower with HVO, about 2.8%. The CO emission will be lower, more than 50%, and the NOx emissions will be lower than 10%. Next slide, please. So now the next steps for the 21 new installations, which were planned with R33. Next slide, please. We have, for this project, we have in June 2020 a general decision for a new field test in Europe level. Then in July, August 2020, we make the identification of the inventory of a potential heating system taking part in the field test according to the storyboard. Then in September, October 2020 will be the first refueling of the heating system with CO2 reduced liquid fuel. It's the R33. Then we have in the coming heating system the operation time, and in April 2021 will be the first assessment of the heating system, and in September, October 2021 will be the second refueling of heating system, and in April 2022 will be the second assessment of the heating system.